Hello.
Okay.
Hello. Hi. Do you have any questions for me?
Yeah, hi Tripura. Just now I joined, so I couldn't.
Okay, okay. No problem. I was just asked. Okay, this is your first day?
This is my second day.
Okay, awesome. So, based on
Last class I
yesterday's.
joined late due to some family functions.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. Did you have the setup ready in your code local now?
Yes, I have the ready everything.
Awesome.
I was just going through the videos because it was very hectic time. My brother's thread
Mm.
ceremony was there yesterday.
Sorry?
My brother's thread ceremony was there yesterday, so
Okay,
it
okay,
was
okay.
messy.
Okay. So, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me anytime.
So, yes, sure, I will ask.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon. So, do you have any questions or issues while setting up the project in your laptop? Okay, I'll take that as a no. So, let's wait for a couple of more minutes before we begin the session today. Thank you for joining in.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone.
Hello, good evening.
Hi Tripura.
Hello.
Hello,
Yeah.
hi. This is Karthik. I have a question before we start the
Mm.
session. So currently I'm working on Selenium with C# framework and
Oh,
using the automation framework.
okay.
So
So,
my
what is the
query
framework?
is, sorry,
So, what is the model you have been approaching?
we are following the data-driven model. Like, sorry,
Okay.
the hybrid framework.
Mm-hmm.
We use Selenium, C#, and SpecFlow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
we are writing like BDD style test cases in Visual Studio.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is or doubt is that when we work on Playwright with
Mm.
TypeScript, so do we also follow the same model here, like the
We are
acceptance test?
following page object mode.
No, no, I understand
Mm.
page object model, which is
Mm.
something which we are also using. But
Mm.
my question is like the Gherkin style cases we write. I mean, our acceptance test cases we write in the Gherkin style,
That's what. So
right?
we are not
Like,
using Gherkin now in our
Mhm.
training. We are not using Gherkin. We are following the plain page object model.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
But in enterprise
Mm.
level, we don't use that page object model
We
alone,
cannot
right?
say don't. No. A couple of the few majorly of the projects are using page object and few projects are using the BDD. Okay. So it's not like the
Mhm.
only BDD is being used across all the projects. So it is being used majorly as well. So, but if we
Mm.
directly jump into the BDD now without understanding the page object model for the fresh joiners, it will be very difficult to understand because there are like multiple things
No, no,
called feature.
I
Mm,
completely understand that part, but I mean, I'm just imagining about the end thing, like
mm,
where we eventually go. We understand the basics first and then go to page object model. But at the final
mm.
implementation, I mean, I'm asking that is possible, right? What I read online is Playwright will support Cucumber.
Yeah, it also has the plugins of supporting the Cucumber. Most of the tools does.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how the companies are using mostly, are they using Cucumber or they have some inbuilt Playwright framework which can be used?
No, not the inbuilt one because Playwright itself is coming up with some set of the framework techniques, right? Like example, the page object model. So they are not going with the inbuilt one. So they are following either page object model or the PET. They are not even going towards the hybrid model. So they are only juggling
Mhm.
between these two frameworks.
Okay.
Mm. So if
Okay.
you
Thanks.
Yeah, so if
Mhm.
you understand one framework, I mean, like say now the page object model or the BDD, with the Playwright, the same framework will be, you can directly use it in your present automation also, in your project as well. You can directly have it. Okay, because the only tweaks which you need to do is like the tagging system or the external dependency if your project has some complex flows which needs to be triggered and they have some more extra plugins which needs to be used. In those edge cases alone, you need to have some more dependencies. Apart from that, everything will be same.
Okay, because the reason is like we need to do a POC now because our we have around 2000 test cases in Selenium, so we need to either
You're migrating it
migrate it
or
to migrating to Playwright. Yeah, that's the reason. Like how to map exactly to this project.
So
That's
what is the
something
reason of
which
migration when you already have the capacity of 2000 test cases already been there in the Selenium?
no, I mean it's not an something going to value add, but we are trying to learn Playwright with this, and it's as an internal learning process. Anyway, we are using
Okay.
Copilot, so we are trying to see if the Copilot can convert all the test cases. I mean, we are not going to write like case by case. We want
No,
to
my question is, what is
convert.
the need of migration when you already have a strong base of 2000 test cases already there in Selenium? Did any, like,
No,
what was the
no.
triggering
The
point?
company, the company is not planning to migrate. This is our own initiative because the company they want to
Yeah,
keep the Selenium, and then when the new project starts, they'll start with Playwright.
yes, yes. So that
So for
is
the
what generally
existing,
happens. Why? Because they might
Mhm.
have already paid millions to have the 2000 test cases
Yeah.
automated. So now they don't want to waste the
Mhm.
resources by migrating it. So this is a current flow, the current situation most of the projects are in. So they want to maintain the existing test cases, but the new applications, for the new applications, they want to update, use a Playwright.
Mhm. Yeah, we this is just for our
Okay, for
own
your,
use.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
we want to convert and see how it works out. Yeah,
Not only
because
with the
there are
GitHub
many level.
Copilot, in order for the conversion, you need to use servers, MCP servers, AI agents as well. So then the
Okay,
automation
okay,
process will be a bit quick. Else,
okay.
it won't be in the satisfactory level, whatever the code it is generating, it will generate in a very basic pattern. So you have to integrate that with, you have 2000 test cases, right? So you need to integrate that with MCP servers.
Mhm.
So then only a bit
Okay, I've not.
proper migration happens.
Okay. I have not, I mean, went into depth level. I know what is MCP, but I've never
Okay.
implemented. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is also included in our course, but it would come in a later stage after JavaScript. I mean, after a couple of weeks. So not in a very
Okay.
initial stage. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Sure. Thank you.
No
I'll
problem.
get in touch with you if anything is needed.
Yeah, yeah, definitely anytime.
All right. Thank you.
Hi team. I think we have waited for 7 minutes. I think it's time to start this session now. So how are you all today? This is Monday. I feel very less energy from the audience. What happened?
It's
It's
okay,
Monday.
it's fine. It's Monday.
It's Monday. So for me, when it is Friday, my energy will be too good. Will be too high.
Always.
Okay, guys. So let's begin now. And yeah, I have a couple of questions or requests from my side. So when I'm explaining the concepts, please don't stop me in between. So I'll give you the time for asking the questions. Please do stop me whenever you feel like some content you're not able to understand at all. So let's park the questions. I will also provide you some time in order to discuss the questions. So let's park till we get the time to discuss about the questions. Else what happens, someone who is very beginning to the session or someone who already know it, uh, there will be a gap of understanding for them if we go from the questions. And if the question is at the point 10 and I was just explaining the point 1, they may get afraid of it. So I don't want that scenario happening in our classes. So I'll give you the time for the questions also. So let's understand the concept first and later we'll discuss about the question. And you can stop me anytime when some thing which I told you, which you are not able to understand at all. Okay. During that point, you can stop me and I'll try to explain it in a much detailed way. Okay. So now what is console.log? I have a question for you.
To
It
print.
is used to print a statement.
Correct. So here you can print it anything. You can either enclose it in a double quotations, or if you want to print a number also, it is fine. You can also do it. And how are we going to execute our file?
npx playwright.
We are not at the Playwright yet. We are just near the JavaScript. We are using
Okay.
Node to execute.
Yeah,
Node, the
node
file
and
name.
the file name. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Node and the file name. Why only Node? Why Node is supporting the JavaScript? Why should we use Node?
It will create an runtime environment to execute the JavaScript files.
Awesome. Perfect. Yes. So why we are going to use Node? Because in our local space, Node will provide you a runtime environment in order to execute our files. So that's the reason why we are keeping Node and followed by our file name, whatever you want to execute it. Okay. So now we have understood about the print statement, and here in the same way, let me snooze my AI agent, which is providing me the output. So here, console.log, we can also do some operations. Example, you want to do 2 plus 2. You can do that. And if you want to do some other multiplications like 2 into 2, you can also do that. And if you want to do some subtraction, 2 minus 2. So earlier, if you see here, whatever the data, if you are using a double quotations, then whatever the data you are giving inside it, it will get printed. So for example, here I have 2 plus 2. Similarly, I'm going to print the same value but enclosed in a double quotations. What happens? The same, instead of giving me the output of the operation, it will just print 2 plus 2 as a string. Okay. So earlier, if 2 plus 2 without the quotation, if I give, it does the mathematical operations of 2 plus 2. What is it? 4. So it will give us a 4 as an output inside our console. Now, if I do the same thing enclosed inside a double quotation, then it will not do the operation. Instead, it will just give us the data. So let me trigger the run. Execute the file. See, based on the first output, we got hello, and then we got 2, and then we got the operational output, and then I got 2 plus 2. What is the reason? It is there. It is enclosed. String. Yes, it is just considering it as a string. And next, I'm 2 into 2, which is nothing but the multiplication, 4, and similarly 2 minus 2, which is nothing but 0. And here before 2 plus 2, I just got the data as 4 and you want to provide some meaning to your output. Even that is also possible with our print statement. Example, adding 2 numbers. Okay. Followed by comma. So if you give this, what happens first? This will get printed and later whatever the operation you have given, that will be printed. Like this. Adding 2 numbers and followed by whatever the thing you want to print it by using a comma separator. All right. So here, let me just comment this out and clear the forum, CLS. And now let me print it. If you see it here, adding 2 numbers, whatever the data I have given and which is enclosed inside the double quotation, that has been printed first because that is what I have given first. And later what I asked, after printing this, please print this operation also. So that's the reason why I got 4. Now, I want the same thing, but to be printed before and after. I want to print like this. Will it happen? 2 plus 4. It did happen. Comma and comma. Before and after. So guys, if you want to append a string and a number, those two, if you want to get it printed inside your console, then just give a comma separator. Okay, so this will become handy for us when we are trying to debug our test cases. So adding 2 numbers and then whatever the thing you want to print. Okay. Simple. Just comma, provide whatever the data you want to provide. So now, here if you observe, I was using 2 and 2, 2. Let me just put it back to 2 and 2. Now in future, if I want to change the value from 2 to 3, I no longer need 2, but I want to trigger 3, like 3 plus 3, 3 into 3, 3 minus 3. Then what I need to do? I have to update all the references of the 2 into 3, right? Which is very tedious for us to do. Like each time going on all the steps and replacing that with the value which is desired, it is really tedious to do, correct? So what we generally do what does a JavaScript provided us is called variable. So we have variables in JavaScript. What does a variable do? Variable will provide a container for you to store a value. So instead of directly giving a 3 or a 2 like this, I will just declare a variable 2 or 3 like this. So this is called variable A. So what does a variable do? Variable will carry the value whatever you have given. So let is a keyword. So I'll talk deeply about the keywords in the later sessions when I'm explaining you about the methods. But now let just consider that as a keyword to store the data. So let A equals to 3. And now in place of 3, so what happens whenever you have given a value like this in the DB? Let me open a paint. Not in the DB, in the memory space of the JavaScript. See, for each and every language, it holds its own memory. Okay. So give me a second. My paint did not get launched yet. Yeah. So consider this is a memory location of JavaScript. So when you directly provide console.log, this particular statement will not hold any memory in the JavaScript memory. But when you declare a variable, what happens as soon as it sees this variable? Let A, as soon as you write let A, a memory will get created. Okay, so shapes. Okay, consider this as a memory. A memory will get created inside my JavaScript memory. Here, and the name of a memory will be A. Okay, so the name of this memory will be A. Okay, so Z. Okay, consider this name of this particular variable which I am just declaring. A memory will be stored inside the JavaScript and the memory name of that memory will be A, whatever the variable name you have given over there. So after the equals to whatever the data I have given, this data will be stored inside that memory. Okay, so likewise, if I am going to create another variable, instead of A, if I have given B now, similarly, what does a JavaScript do? As soon as it sees let B, it will create a memory inside the Java memory space, and it will hold the value whatever I am giving. So here it is let's say it is 4 now. So the 4 will be stored inside my variable. Okay. You can store any value. I'll also explain it in a couple of minutes now. So variable, the proper definition of a variable is a container which is holding the data. Okay. It's a normal variable. It's normal container to store the value. So what is the syntax to create a variable is? Let's see. You can also do it like this. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, you can also give it like this. When you give a value like this, what happens? A null value. This is called declaration, guys. When you just provide let d, the naming is called declaration. Okay. And when you provide d equals to 5, it is called initialization. The naming convention. So let A, let D, the first 2 characters, whatever I'm giving, let D, it is called declaration. And when you assign a value to that particular variable, we call that as a initialization. So after the same pattern, in this line, I did let A equals to 3. It means I did both declaration and initialization in a single line. Similarly, even this is accepted and this is also accepted. Okay, I will pause for a second, and if you have any questions, please shoot. So what is a variable?
Variable is a container holding a data.
Perfect. And you can store any data. For now, for the beginners to understand it, I'm just providing 3 and 4. And what data we are going to provide, I'll also explain it now. Okay. So now we already have, now my requirement is, instead of 3, wherever I see a 3, I'm going to provide my variable name like this. Okay. Or if you want to provide A plus B also, it is fine. I'll provide now A plus B. And now here it is A, and again A, here as well A. All the values where the 3 has been used, I'm just using as an A. Now a variable. So A and a A. Now let me trigger the run. See, it has properly provided me the data according to the variable I have given. And we call this as a reference also, guys. There are multiple terminologies we can go with. One, we call it as a variable, or we can also call it as variable reference. Okay. Now, in future, what happened? Wherever I have used the A, it is doing 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3, 3 plus 3 and all. So in future, I want to execute 4 into 4, like all entire details into 4, not with the 3. What I can do, I can directly update from 3 to 4. That's it. At a single point, if I update it, it should be perfect. So it is reducing my rework so that I don't have to update each and every line. Okay, so usually whatever the coding language you take, whatever the automation tools you take, the code, the storing a value is mandate, because the entire world revolves on data. So instead of directly using the data, what we do, we store our data into a variable and we use that variable for our execution purpose. So that in future, if the data gets updated, we can directly update our variable so that our rework will be reduced to a maximum extent. So that is the whole concept of it. Whenever I use a name, what does a JavaScript do? What does a node does? It goes to the JavaScript memory, and it will go to this memory location, and it will check what is the data which is being stored inside that variable, and it will use it for the execution purpose. Okay. And there are multiple ways. You can declare it like this directly, or you can also declare it separately and initialize it separately also. And declaration should only be done once. Example, I did let D here and let A here. Example, I am trying to do let A again. See, as soon as I done that, Visual Studio is throwing me an error saying that if I hover on it, cannot redeclare block scoped variable A. Okay, what it is saying, you cannot redeclare it because declaration has already been done. Okay, so declaration should only be done once and initialize the very first time the data you have given, it is called initialization. Now, I already have value A, 4 as value A. Now I want to update it. How can I do that? I will do it here also. I can do it here as well. So now what happens? First, when let A equals to 4, the JavaScript execution happens from first line. So here console.log, this execution done, and later on it goes to the line number 3. Here I have let A. So as soon as it sees let A, it will create a memory inside my JavaScript and then it will store the value whatever I have given. And similarly for the let B also, it creates a memory inside the JavaScript and it stores the value 4. And in my next line, line number 5, A equals to 5. Correct. I have again assigned value 5 inside my variable A. So what happens? Whatever the data I have in my memory, it will remove this value and it will replace that with 5. Okay. So you can reassign the values multiple times to a variable, but you cannot redeclare a variable. Okay. You can reassign it. So now if I try to, I'll just comment all this and now I'll try to print the value A. So what should be my output?
5.
If
5. Exactly. Why? Because first 4 and then the reassignations done, reassignation, I think the terminology. So the value 5 has been re-updated into my variable. So that has been printed because I have printed that with a log. Okay. So that is a concept of the variables, guys. So variable is just a container. It will just give us the container and it's up to you. Whatever the data you want to store, you can store it. There is no restriction about anything. You can store whatever the data you want to store, you can store it. And the terminology is mean let A is nothing but declaration and A equals to 4. The very first time when you are giving the data to your variable, it is called initialization. Okay. So now let me just print D and let me comment out the value and see what is the value which it printed. It did not throw me any error. It is just by default, it will provide a value called undefined. It will just provide me the output saying that it is undefined. It means you have declared it, but you haven't initialized it. Whenever you see any output like undefined, then the first thing which should strike into your mind is that I have declared the variable, but I haven't initialized it. Okay. If you initialize it, then that value will be stored and that value will be printed. I mean, based on your operation. Yeah, before I go to what type of data I can store into the variables, I will hold on for a minute. And if you have anything to discuss, please.
Hi, Tripura. I joined a
Hello.
bit late because of our time differences.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
uh, yeah. Tripura, I was just trying it. What I did was I did a very simple thing, but can I share my screen if everyone is okay, just for a minute?
Can we
I
park
just
it?
want.
Can we park it towards the
Okay.
later? In the meantime, if you are facing issues with execution in the Visual Studio, just use JavaScript compiler online. If there is an issue with
Okay.
the setup.
Oh no,
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take it up in the later. No worries.
Okay, awesome. And observe the things, whatever I'm doing. Yeah,
Just a question. Do we use let for strings as well?
you can use it for anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, in the JavaScript, you can use it for anything, and even without this also, it should work. But why we need it, what we need it, I'll explain it in the next session when I'm explaining about the functions. You can use keywords, guys. Without the keyword also, it provides a memory. And with the keyword like let, also it provides a memory. Or the same thing, let, var, and the next one we have is constant. We want some variable name, okay? It can be anything, but avoid using something like percentile or dollar, some special characters, okay? Or 1, 2. Avoid using numbers when you're trying to declare a variable, and avoid using a special characters.
So what's the
And
difference between let and var?
I'll explain when I'm explaining about the function. So
Okay,
then
sure.
you will understand it more. It is mostly about the scope. So if we know about the
Okay.
functions, then if I explain it, then you will understand it. Okay. So these are the multiple ways of declaring a variable. Else, you can also declare it normally like this as well. Without anything also, the JavaScript will accept it. So B1, let me use B2. Okay. B2 equals to 4. Even this is also accepted. It will not throw any error. Okay. But only one thing which you need to keep in mind is when you are using a keyword called constant, then you will not be able to reassign the value. So let me comment this out. I have 4 variables. Now I have declared it and I have initialized it. There are multiple ways of declaring. I can use let as my keyword. I can use var as my keyword. I can use constant as my keyword. And without the keyword also, I can use it. Okay. When you are using in a single file, it is fine. You can use any way. Let var constant b2. It is okay. But one thing which you need to understand is, let me try to reassign the value of 5. Did it throw me any error? No. Let me try to assign the value into my B. It is also possible. And let me snooze it. I have just snoozed my GitHub Copilot because it is keep on giving me the suggestions. And next goes to we have reassigned the value, whatever I used using a let. And using the var also, I have reassigned the value. But B1's keyword is constant. It is not let or var, it is constant. Now let me try to reassign the value of constant. Okay, let me print it. Console.log, all of them, A. And similarly, before that, I'll just provide A, comma. I'm just printing all the variables. And B, B. Next, we have B1, which is a constant and a B1. Let me trigger the run. See, let me expand the area. Here, if you see, there is an error. What it is saying, B1 equals to 5. At this particular point, I got an error. Why? Because assignment to a constant variable. What it is trying to explain me that you should not, like, the JavaScript will not allow you to update the value of a constant variable. So if a particular variable is constant is a keyword, then it should only declared and initialized once. We should not reinitialize the value after you provide the data into it. It provides us a restriction. If the memory has been created for a constant variable, then the value inside that memory will not get updated. Okay? Let it will update it whenever you want to. Var it will update it whenever you want to. But B1 it will not update it. Why? Because it is constant. So these are the three keywords we have whenever we are trying to declare a variable. Okay. Let me create a new file for the data types. So far what I've been using only the numbers, right? So there is in the Java, not only with the numbers, you can assign anything into your variable. So what are the things which I can assign is, let me clear the forum in here. Let A equals to 1. Okay. And let B equals to hello. I can provide numbers. I can provide names also. So whatever the value which I am providing inside my variable, that is called data. And the type of the data is, the naming convention, we call it as data types. So then what are the data types? What are the kind of data I can store inside my JavaScript is? Inside my JavaScript variables are, I can store numbers. Okay, I can store numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, or I can store fraction also, like 1.1, 1.2. That values I can store. I can store negative values like -1, -2, negative integers, positive integers, and I can provide the decimal values also. And the naming terminology is called as floats. I can provide floats also. I can provide numbers. I can provide strings. String is nothing but the names like Tripura, Isha, hello, how are you, collection, whatever I'm enclosing inside a double quotations, we call that a string. Strings you can store, and these three are, okay, I'll go there afterwards. So numbers, floats also comes under numbers. So instead of numbers, I'll write integer, floats, strings, arrays, and objects. Okay. So now let's see one after the other data types in detail. Now, let me just stick with the numbers. So you can store A equals to 1, or I can store let B equals to 1.1. This is also good. Now let me try to print the data. Similarly, B. Node data types .js. A1 and 1.1. I got properly the value printed. Now, if you want to find out the data type of this particular variable, so basically, guys, based on the data you are giving, we are telling the JavaScript that we are defining the data type of our variable. So based on the data, a data type will be defined towards that particular variable. So if you have to find the data type of that particular variable, how you can do it is same. Let me do a console, and here a type of A. That's it. If you write type of A, then it will provide the data type of that particular variable. Number. As I explained earlier, so integers and floats, these both comes under the data type called numbers. So based on the value you have assigned to your variable, the data type of that particular variable will be defined. Similarly, the same value 1, if I enclose it in a double quotation, so what should be my data type? Any idea?
String.
Perfect. It doesn't care about what is the value you are providing inside it. It just cares whether you have given double quotations or not. You can also provide single quotation. So I'll give you another example. Single quotation now. Okay. And now let me clear the forum. Trigger the run. See now I got string. It accepts double quotations. It also accepts single quotations. So if the data is enclosed inside a double quotation or a single quotation, no matter what is the data you have provided, the JavaScript will consider that as a string. Okay. So basically, what is the need of assigning a data type to my particular variable? Because example, if you take a numbers, you can do plus addition to a number, you can do multiplication, you can do subtraction, or you can do a division. But with the strings, you can't do all those things, right? So based on the data type, certain operations we can do on that particular variable. So the need of a data type, why it internally grabbing the data type of a variable based on the data I have provided, because it can provide us certain restrictions. Like for example, a string you have, you cannot do a minus with hello with 1. Correct. Hello minus 1, it doesn't make any sense. So likewise, so to provide some restrictions, hello by 1, you cannot do that. So to provide some restrictions on what operations I can do on that particular variable, the JavaScript internally provides the type to it. Okay. Any questions, guys? I'll hold for a minute. So to find the type of a data, we will be using a method called typeof. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Is that the only method we can use, like, to find that kind of
Yes.
information?
Yes.
Okay. And
Typeof.
is this method pertaining to JavaScript or TypeScript or
It is
something?
related to the JavaScript.
Okay.
So currently I'm focusing on JavaScript. Once we are done, I'll be moving towards the TypeScript, but it is completely JavaScript, whatever the keywords I'm telling you.
All right. All right. Thank you.
Just use the key called typeof with the variable name. It will provide you what is the data type of that value, what is the kind of the value that variable is holding. So similarly, guys, int C, if you want to provide a proper variable, you can provide with many characters. Hello, how are you, all today. Okay, you can provide anything to it. And later, if you want to type, if you want to print, go ahead. If you want to find the type of it also, it is fine. So variable, sorry, I will just rename it back. So it will provide, it will give you an example. You can use that as an example. Likewise. So int, float, and the strings. These kind of data types are called primitive data types. Just the categorizing of the data types. So all these three are called primitive data types. So when someone asks you, so what are the data types? So explain about the data types, and you can just tell them that we have two types of data types, one primitive and the other one is called non-primitive data types. So inside the non-primitive, all the arrays and the objects will come into the picture. Primitive, integers, floats, and string. Okay. Now, guys, I want to just explain you another thing. So let's see. Sorry, D equals to, we have 1, and let E equals to 2. So now let me print console.log. So let me comment out everything. And here my D is 1 and E is 2. So what would be my output? So what should be my output?
Should be 3.
Yes, correct. So it should be 3. So similarly, when I try to convert it as a string like this, 1 and 2, it is no longer a integer, it is a string now. So what should be my output?
D plus C 1 plus 2.
1, 2.
With the double quotes.
1, 2. Okay, it is just combining the two strings, 1, 2. So similarly, if you have hello and here you have world, so what happens? It will just combine the two strings, hello and world. It will just combine it and it will print it. Hello world, like this. Plus is possible with the strings. This is called concatenation. If you have 1 and 2 in the form of an integer, then it will print the output as 3. It will combine it. But now 1 and 2 are no longer a integer. It is a string. So what does it do? It will just append it, 1 and 2. It will concatenate it. The terminology which I'm using for the strings when I'm using a plus is called concatenation. Okay. So concatenation is, it is just combining two words, hello and world. It will print it like this. Okay. And if you want to insert a space inside the hello world, if you see my output in here, both the words got closely added without any space in between. So if you want to add a space, then the same technique. Let f equals to, just provide the space. Okay, just the space. And now provide f. Yeah. Concatenation with f. DFE. So first it grabs hello and then ef, which is a space, hello space word. So that is what I should see inside my output. Hello world. Okay. So by using a plus, you can combine anything. So in place of space, if I have 4 here, then what happens? Hello 4 world. It will just add the values whatever I have given. Hello 4 and world. That's it, guys. It is very simple to use in the JavaScript. Just a plus, it will combine whatever the things I have given. Yes.
Tripura, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Instead of D plus F plus E, can we write D plus double quote space and plus E?
You can do that also. Yes, it is completely possible. So like this.
Yeah. Will it create a space?
It will create it. Let me trigger the run. Hello world.
Yeah. Okay, thank
you. You can play with the consoles, whatever you give, it will print it. So you just have to get some practice around how to give the data into your consoles. Even before you can give, even after you can give, it's just like using the plus operator, using concatenation operator. Okay. So hello world, and whatever you want to give, you can give it.
Tripura, which is the best practice? So giving space in the console or mentioning data type variable equal to space? So
So one thing depends on your usage. If you're going to use it once, then you can directly provide it in a console. But you want the same thing to be repeated in the multiple lines of the code, then have it in a variable.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
So now what are the two types of variables we have? Sorry, data types we have?
Primitive and non-primitive.
Non-primitive.
So I
Perfect.
have one question, Tripura.
Yeah, go ahead.
What if we want to declare a special character to the variable?
You want to declare a special character to a variable. I
Yes.
mean, you want that as a variable name or the value should be a special character?
Value should be a, you can explain me both, actually. I just want to see how it functions. Not into the strings, just
Okay. So let's assume you have @ symbol. Okay. So starting, you cannot have it. But let's say after this and just provide hello world.
no, can
Underscore.
you put,
Hmm.
let D equals to dollar, something like that?
Yeah, okay. That's what. So you want the value to be a special character.
Yes. First, we can go with that, and then whatever you
Provide it
want to
inside
explain.
the string
No,
directly.
without strings.
It is not a variable or it is not a float or it will not. Let's understand the type of queue. Let's see what it is printing us. Okay. So we will
Yes.
understand it that pattern. So what is the type it is handling? Log and type of queue. Okay. So now let me clear the forum and trigger the run. It has thrown me an error. Dollar is not defined. It is considering that as some variable which I want to declare.
Okay.
So dollar equals to just provide hello. Now it has given me as a string.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah, but it is not a best practice to have a special character. It doesn't come across the project's camel casing.
Yeah, understood. I just wanted to check the flow of what exactly it is happening.
Okay. So apart from the numbers, whatever you give the special characters, it is considering that as some variable, and it is expecting that to be initialized or sorry declared.
But as you said, variable name should not contain the special character or should
It
not start
doesn't.
with.
Okay. So when I said should not means it is not part of the camel casing which we follow across the projects. Okay, it should not start with dollar. In our projects, we will never encourage it because of the camel casing techniques. I will explain that in the next sessions. Okay.
Do we have char, long, boolean data types in JavaScript?
We do have it. Yes. The next comes as boolean inside the inside the primitive data types. Thank you for reminding it. So here the boolean is nothing but, so we have data 4, which is a number, and we have hello or something enclosed inside the quotation, so which we call it as a string. So apart from these two, there is something other in our data techniques are, so let's say A1 equals to true. Okay, so you can assign a true value or a false value. False. Type of A1. So just the outcome. So we call true or a false is normally the outcome of some conditions. Okay. So if your variable hold either true or a false, then we call it as a Boolean data. Boolean. type of A1, which is called booleans. So storing true or a false. And even 1 and 0 will be considered as a Boolean output, but we mostly use it in an if condition. I'll explain it during our conditions technique. So for now, you just understand it in this pattern. Whatever the true you are giving, it will be considered as a Boolean data. Similar thing, if I have it enclosed inside a quotation, so what do you think the type should be?
String.
Perfect answer, guys. So it doesn't care about the data. It is just thinks whether you have a quotation, double quotations or a single quotations in it or not. So be mindful whenever you are declaring a variable. So here, if you provide true directly, then it will be considered as a Boolean. If it is enclosed inside a quotations, then it will be considered as a string. Even single quotations, it is accepted in the form of a string, or a double quotations, it's accepted. And even that is called primitive data types.
Tripura, could you, if you don't mind, could you explain the Boolean stuff again, if you don't mind?
Yeah, it is just that, okay, variable is nothing but what kind of data we are storing inside our variable. See, the data type is nothing but what kind of data you are storing inside a variable. That is clear, correct? Is that, yeah, okay, awesome. So first, if you wish to store 1, 2, or -1, or a -2, or a 0, we call that as integer. And integer comes under the family of numbers data type. Okay, so now if you store a number, it can either be a whole number or a decimal number, either 4 or 4.0. Our variable will hold both the data, but it will understand the data as a data type as numbers. Similarly, if you wish to store a name like hello or even C, it is also be considered as a string. Some characters or whatever the things you are enclosing inside the quotation, it will consider that as a string. Similarly, there is a situation where you want to store true or a false. Okay, it is neither a number, it is not a string also. It is just the outcome of true or a false. You just want to store true or a false, then that particular data is called Boolean kind of data, and the data type is called Boolean. You're just storing true. Okay, not the capital T, it should be small t. True. If you enclose the same inside a quotation, then it will be again become a part of string family. So now it is a Boolean. When you grab the type of the Boolean also, it will provide you as a Boolean data. So if you want to have some small example, is 5 greater than 3? So what should be the output, true or a false? True. 5 is greater than 3. So then that data is called Boolean data. So similarly, is 3 less than 5? True. Or 3 greater than 5? False. So with multiple conditions, we get a Boolean data as an outcome. And it plays a very major role when we are trying to use statements like if statement, or even for the for loop techniques also, we need the Boolean data. Okay. I hope it is clear now. It's just storing true or a false. That's it.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. Yeah. So I will pause it here, guys, for today, the primitive data types. And tomorrow I will explain you in detail about non-primitive data types, which is very important, of arrays and objects. Okay. And later I'll explain about the string functions, string manipulation functions in the JavaScript. And please do practice around the variables console, and try to grab the type of it. Okay, and how do we cast it? I'll explain it tomorrow. Okay. So if you have any questions, you can stay on the call and rest all can drop off.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. And please do practice
Thanks.
around it.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, sorry guys, there are like couple of questions which been posted in the chat. Well, I did not get the notification, so I was not able to see it. So do we have Shruti in the call? No, and do we have Hi Asian, so do you have a question? I see that here it is giving undefined for non-initialized variables, whereas in Java it will give default value in case of yes, correct. Do we have char, long? No. We have Boolean data, but we don't have a char or a long. Do we? Okay.
Okay, Tripura, what is the
Hi.
difference between float data type and int? Because as you said, int also accept decimal, float also accept decimal.
Those two are considered as a family of numbers data type. So we don't have like int data type or a float data type in Java. In Java, we have like both, right? Int and a float. But in JavaScript, we don't have both. We consider that as a numbers. So basically, you can store 1 and float is nothing but 1.1. The numbers with a decimal. Decimal values, we call it as a float. Okay?
So if we mention type of for 1.1, then it will give
It will
as
be
a
numbers
float.
only. It will be number only. Okay, so just the naming convention which we follow whenever you see a decimal is called float. It is not a data type.
Mhm.
Yeah. In JavaScript.
In JavaScript, we also don't have double.
No. Whatever we have, the let will handle it. Only those data types we have. The memory, so basically long, double, all these, when we are explaining to a Java, in order to provide the memory location in the Java space, we mention it as long, double, like that. But here, JavaScript will be flexible. No matter what the data you provide, it will hold the memory as like such. You don't have to practically tell them that it should be a long or it should be a byte like that.
Okay, that's why JavaScript is now most preferred compared to Java.
Yeah, and if you understand the Python, it will be very simple than JavaScript. So that's the reason why JavaScript and Python, those two are booming.
Yeah.
I think Shilpa, Swapna, I think someone asked to share the screen, right? Suprava, are you the one who wanted to share the screen?
No, it was not me. Shilpa, I think. I'm not sure her name.
Okay, yeah, I think it was Shilpa.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah,
Can
Tripura,
please, sir.
I have one small question.
Go ahead,
So,
go ahead.
to have this JavaScript operated, do we need to have any installation over laptop? Like we should have
Yeah,
some JavaScript or Java, right?
we need to have Node.js.
That's it, huh? And what
That's
about
it.
Java? Java?
It's not required. Is it asking you to have Java? No. Java is needed when you are operating with Java language. For JavaScript, it
Okay.
is not required.
Okay,
Only
okay.
Node.js.
Okay. So like literal meaning I just went on. So maybe Java and
Oh,
JavaScript are the same.
okay. No.
Okay.
It is not required. And
Okay.
even the memory it holds is very less, few MBs, that's it. Java will be a huge setup.
So So how do we know that whether Java is installed in my PC or not? Just to
Same,
search
Java
and just say.
hyphen version.
Okay, fine. That
So
works, right? And
whatever the language you want to see, if it is a Python, we will ask Python hyphen version. If it is a Java, Java hyphen version. If it is JavaScript, then Node hyphen version. We should not ask JavaScript. We should go with Node hyphen
okay.
version.
Understood.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's a silly one, but I have
No,
no
no, no,
opinion,
nothing
right?
is silly in our class. I like discussing anything.
Okay, thanks a lot.
No problem. Any other questions?
Actually, learning if I learn second language like after Java, Python or JavaScript, then that comparisons come in my mind that this was this and that.
That's a great way of learning things. You know, if you know one language and if you're trying to compare it, even that would be asked in an interview and they'll ask you what's the difference you are seeing in both the language. You can directly explain them everything. So it would be really good journey.
Yeah.
To compare it, to compare it.
Yeah. Okay, I will also go through once from my own that stack memory concept, heap memory concept, if it is there or not in JavaScript.
Every language has its own memory, but we can't use this. We won't use the same terminology, but it is in a different terminology. I'll explain it. Awesome, guys. So any other questions before we end the session today? Vipul, Sapna.
Tripura, is there
questions,
any
thank you.
assignment for today?
Today it's just that I want you guys to practice. Once I'm completed with the objects, I mean the non-primitive, then I'll provide you the assignments there.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Tripura.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you, Tripura. Thank you for the class and all. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
have a great journey. Great learning today. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.